This is a story about what makes us different. And about having the courage to find the place where we belong.
This film, we actually don't hear you speak this entire film.
Right, right.
When you got the script, did you realize that, and what was that process like for you?
It was interesting. Just because someone's not speaking or using their voice doesn't mean that they're not communicating. You know, I mean, I think that's one of the things that's most interesting about it. In the 1927 portion of the film, it's all shot as a silent film.
Right.
So, and not only that, but I play a silent film actress within a silent film. So it has this kind of, you know,
Double entendre.
Yeah, and so that's amazing, you know, and to learn the language of silent film too. You know, how is it that things were communicated in those movies? How expressive were those actors? How do you manage to be expressive and communicative while still being naturalistic? Those were all things that we thought about a lot in that part of the film. And then in the 1977 part, my character is communicating through American Sign Language, which was something that I worked on very hard with my teachers who are fluent in ASL and were very, very helpful. And then I also watched Millie, you know, Millie, who is such an extraordinary actress and is so expressive and so alive, and I needed to capture how she was physically, you know, how facially and how she moved and really everything about her.
She's obsessed with you, by the way.
I'm obsessed with her.
She loves you.
Yeah, I love her.
Working with the amazing Todd again.
Yeah.
And you're his muse.
Oh.
Talk about your love for working with Todd and why it's always such a good collaboration between the two of you.
He's an extraordinary filmmaker, and he's so very, very specific and so unusual sometimes in the things that he chooses to explore and how he explores them and how he manifests emotion on screen. You know, I mean, you really do, when you watch his movies, you see the way he moves his camera and you see how he frames things. You really suddenly have this moment of recognition because it's like cinematically what it feels like to be alive. You know, and that's why we go to the movies, to have that experience of our lives being reflected or opened up in some way.
You've played characters with disabilities before. Why is it so important for people with disabilities to be displayed on such a big audience?
Because it's important for people to see themselves, you know? I mean, I would like to think that entertainment reflects a variety of human experiences, you know, regardless of culture or gender or abilities or race or age or anything. You know, it's like we're supposed to represent the world, and people deserve to be seen. They deserve to have their cultures represented. And I think it's important for us, everybody, to see something other than yourself. Yeah. You know, to be exposed to it, to have some knowledge of it, to learn another language. You know, all of that's really important.
What is Julianne Moore, when she gets a script, what does she look for? Like, what does she turning the page, like what exactly are you looking for in a script? Because you've picked amazing ones.
I don't know. I look for the story. You know, people sometimes ask me, like, what kind of part do you want to play?
Right.
And I'm never looking for a part. I'm looking for the whole story. You know, you can have a great part, you know, something where your character does all these kind of cool things, but the story itself doesn't hang together, it doesn't say something. And it's really only when you get to the end of the script you go like, oh, that's what this is about. And
like a message or a meaning.
Yeah, or just an experience or something, you know. So if the movie adds up to something, that's generally when I want to be involved in it.
Were you nervous going into it with big stars such as Julianne Moore and Todd Haynes?
Oh my gosh, yes. Very nervous. I was nervous. I was wondering, oh my gosh, I might ruin their moment. You know, here I am, I'm a new actress, and they're so experienced, they're the pros, and they're, you know, top names, and I thought, oh my gosh, how can I do this? I was so nervous, but both Julianne and Todd made me feel so calm, so welcome and comfortable, and like I was really a part of the team. They really helped me a lot. It was an amazing experience.
I love the scene in the film where you are in the mirror and you cut your hair.
Yes.
How was that for you transforming as an actress? How did you use that for your character?
that was a really tough scene for me to do because I could relate to the character because when I was young, I had long hair too, and I always hated it. My bangs were always in my face; it was always bothering me. And so I went to my mom and I said, I want to cut my hair. So she took me the same day to cut it all off. I remember that feeling. And Rose, when she saw the picture in the magazine with short hair, that moment inspired her to cut her hair. I can understand that. But to actually do it, it was really hard because I had to use my left hand for her character. And the scissors are very old and heavy. And I was scared that I was like going to cut myself, right? I feel, okay, great, I can see an accident coming. But so I tried practicing. And the scene actually, it worked. I didn't know what would happen, but it actually worked. I love that scene.
In the film, in the beginning of the film, you are looking up to Julianne Moore's character almost as a fan, and then we later find out that she's your mom. Who do you look up to in real life?
Julianne Moore, the same person. She is actually my favorite person. Always has been. I've loved her work in Hunger Games. I think she's an amazing villain too. That's what and she's brave. She's emotional. She's not afraid. I just right away was taken with her as an actress and with her as a person. She's an amazing person. She's so confident. She's so smart. She's so talented. I learned so much from working with her, and she's so precise in her work.
Ooh. So much potential for you in the future. What kind of projects do you want to do next?
I'm working on a film right now.
Oh, what is it about?
I can't tell the title yet, but I can't say much about it yet, but it's called A Quiet Place, and it's a horror film.
Ooh, it's going to be good. I know
Yeah, it's a new experience. It's great. I'm working with John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, and it's been an amazing experience as well.
So you guys seem pretty close. How much bonding was there before filming, and how much bonding was there after filming?
Well, I met him in an audition, actually. They called it a chemistry test to see how you perform with other actors. And we pretty much became friends after that audition. I mean, we both got the roles, and then we just were friends since that.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, you guys seem to have a lot of fun on set.
Yeah.
In the movie, there's a big emotional scene where you guys are in the museum. Talk about working up to that emotional scene for you guys. It was a lot. It was intense.
Yeah, that was really fun to shoot.
Was it?
Yeah,
I was thinking
awesome.
about, like, all the crazy things that Jamie has gone through in his life. Like, he comes from divorced parents. He probably really likes his dad, but he can't hang out with him. And he loves his mom, but he can't hang out with them at the same time. And I was also thinking about, like he probably gets bullied in school and how he probably doesn't have many friends, and all of a sudden his only friend is gone. And so I was just thinking about all those things, and thinking about those things really got me into the feeling like, wow, this kid has gone through some stuff. And once we were ready to shoot that, I just kind of let that all out, and I tried to make it feel as emotional as possible.
You guys went there.
Yeah.
For you, you had the challenge of now, losing your hearing in the film. What were the challenges in that after that happened?
Well, because he gets struck by lightning, he has lots of trouble after a little ways into the movie. He becomes deaf, and then because of that, there's a switching point where Ben just has a feeling inside that he's not where he belongs and that he needs to try to find his father. So then he gets on a bus and goes to New York City, and he then meets Jamie and everything. But it was really cool. But it was hard to become that deaf character a little ways into the film, but also not play that deaf character for the full film. So it was very different from any other experience I've ever had.
And you guys have such big, bright futures ahead of you.
Thank you.
What kind of projects do you want to do in the future?
I want to work with Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey? Why
Yeah.
Kevin Spacey?
I really like the guy, and I've always loved watching his films. And one of my favorite films is Unusual Suspects, and how, you know, it's a comedy, but at the same time you can feel the tensity, and how every single film that he does, if it's a drama, romance, or a comedy, they all have the same kind of monotone kind of feeling. Where,
Well, like what you're giving right now.
yeah,
monotone.
you know, trying to make you feel very scared. But, you know,
Doesn't he creep you out a little bit?
He's showing off his range.
No, but, you know, I just love the guy, and I like how many different kinds of characters he can play, and I would love to learn from him and work with him.
Put it out there.
Yeah.
I'd love to.
Kevin, if you listen in,
Put it out there.
please make it real.
I just worked on a film with Robert De Niro, but that was my
no big
first
deal.
comedy.
No big deal.
No,
That
the
was my
Robert De
first
Niro.
comedy, and I'd love to do more comedies. That was really fun. So comedies are always fun, and also just any sort of film with new people is always cool.
How do you know my name?